What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video, and this one is, it's a little late, but hey, it's better late than never, right? Because this is going to be my final review for Ghost of Tsushima, and I know it took a long time, but A, I didn't rush through the game, I really took my time, and B, fucking life happens, and I wasn't playing all the time, or as much as I wanted to, or as fast as I wanted to, but I did complete the game today. So late as it may be, for those of you out there who give a shit about what I think about the game, here is my final review of the game and what I think about it. Let me start by going over the things that were bad in the game. Let's start with the bad, and the things I didn't like or had issues with, because there are very few of them, and I figure we might as well go over them before I start gushing over the game, right? So, one thing that I really wish was done better or done differently is the final battle sequence between you and the Khan. Not necessarily you and him one-on-one, but there's kind of like a whole battle that's going on between the Mongol forces and whatever forces you have, as well as between you and the Khan. And that battle was building up to be something really big, and it just wasn't as big in scope as I expected it to be. It was kind of just the same size as everything else you've done, just now the Khan is there. And so that was kind of underwhelming to me. I was expecting this much larger, grander scale battle, and we don't really get that, even though it seems like that's what it's building up to. Also, a couple bugs I came across, not very many, especially not for an open world game, but I did have one where a fox did not appear at the fox den. So I'm going to have to find that Inari shrine by myself, because that little bastard isn't coming out to show me where the fuck it is. So, and there's no way for me to fix it. I tried restarting the game, like completely closing out and then restarting the game, but that didn't fix it. So that's just going to be an Inari shrine I'm going to have to find on my own. Also, a couple bugs with quests, with some of the side quests. One where I was I was supposed to be examining clues along this kind of shoreline, and there's like spilled over rice and some other bullshit, and you'd go over to the spilled over rice and go to examine it, and it would zoom in, you would crouch down, it would zoom in like you're about to say something, but then there would be no audio, nothing would come out, and you couldn't back out, you couldn't exit, you couldn't do anything. The only way to get out of that was you'd have to go into start, like into the menu, and then restart from the last checkpoint, and then you can continue playing the game. But that bug would not fix itself. The way I was able to fix that was I had to close out of the game and restart it, and then that did fix itself. Unfortunately, the worst bug I came across, and the biggest fucking bummer for me in this game, was another side quest where I had to go through and rescue these hostages. And I believe there's 5 of them in this area. And one of the hostages is on the 2nd story of one of these buildings. And I would go up there and I rescued him, and he gave me the shit he's supposed to give me. But he never left like the other hostages do. The other hostages, when you would free them, they would thank you, say some bullshit, and then they would run away. Well, he thanked me, gave me this piece of armor, and then he just stood there. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, alright, maybe the dude wants to fucking chill in here. Whatever, no big deal. But then I went outside, and the rest of the hostages were all in a group, and I was able to go up to them, and then they said some more bullshit, and then they left together. But after they left, it still showed a prompt of there being someone to rescue in the 2nd floor of that building. And I can't go get that guy to leave, and it doesn't matter. Like, at this point, it's fucked, because that guy didn't leave when he was supposed to. I can't ever complete that side quest. And not only that, but that side quest was a secondary part of a much larger side quest. So, like, there was another side quest where I have to find these pieces of armor all around Tsushima that are Mongol armor. And once I find all the pieces, I can get this Mongol armor built for me. Well, this guy's holding one of the last pieces of the Mongol armor. So guess what? Not only can I not complete this side quest, I also can't get the Mongol armor. And the worst part of all, I can never platinum the game. And this game isn't even a hard platinum. It's a very, very easy platinum. I don't platinum many games just because some games, the platinums are fucking ridiculous. It'll be like some bullshit like collect 100 newspapers like around the open world. And it's like, well, where the fuck are they? Oh, they're just random shit all over the place. Collect 100 of this, collect 500 of that, collect 200 of this. And it's like, I don't have time to track down all this bullshit. Like, make it more attainable to get platinums, because some of these platinums are ridiculous, or platinums where it includes multiplayer. So part of getting the platinum includes winning 500 fucking online matches, and it's like, dude, fuck you. I don't give a fuck about those trophies. Make the platinums attainable, you motherfuckers, okay? So this game is a game where in order to platinum, yeah, there are things you need to do, but they aren't ridiculous, they aren't outlandish. It is a little bit extra work, but it's not like, fuck you, I'm gonna whip you like a fucking slave to do this bullshit that doesn't matter just so you can get a platinum. Because that's what most platinums are. It's games that just throw a bunch of shit at you and say, hey, here's a bunch of shit you need to get. Why? Just because you want to get the platinum. Because getting this shit serves no purpose other than being something you need to get in order to get the platinum. And this game doesn't do that. It's all things that are attainable, things that are still kind of fun. And unfortunately, I can't platinum this game because of this fucking bug. And the other thing is, I'm kind of OCD with games, especially open world games. Like when it opens up sections of maps, like I need to clear that section of everything before I move on to the next section. Like I don't give a shit if the story quest is in the next section of the map. I need to clear this entire section of the map first, and then I'll move on to the next section. That's just the way I play. I'm sure there are other people that play like that. Most people probably don't though, but that's the way I play. So I need to clear the entire section of the map, and then I will move on to the next section. That's the way I played this game, because this game is divided up into 3 chapters, and each chapter is designated to 1/3 of the island of Tsushima. So you start in the southern third, and I completely cleared that shit out, moved to the middle third, and then I cleared out as much of that as I could until it forced me to go to the top third, and then I cleared out as much of that as I could before I completed the game, and then cleared out whatever other bullshit was there. But the thing is, that's the way I work. I like to clear everything out and get shit off the map that's not supposed to be there. Like if I see an icon on the map, I gotta clear it off the map. I'm the same way with shit like on my cell phone. If I see notifications, I need to clear that shit out. I can't stand seeing the notification bubbles on my apps. So looking at this map and seeing this fucking orange square and silver square of these fucking things that I cannot clear off the goddamn map is fucking killing me. Every time I open the map, I cringe inside. I'm like, this fucking motherfucker, if only he got off the fucking second story and left when he was fucking supposed to, I wouldn't have to be dealing with this bullshit. Fucking bugs. Fucking bugs. And it sucks because, I mean, they're not deal breakers for the most part. I mean, that last one, kind of, it borderlines on being a deal breaker because I have to fucking look at it all the time. And because I know I'm never going to be able to platinum this game until hopefully they patch it in the future. But for the most part, like I said, these things are really, they're not deal breakers. The other one I was able to fix, the one with the fox not showing up when he's fucking supposed to, that one, I'll look up where the fucking shrine is and I'll find it my goddamn self. But they're not deal breakers, they're just mild nuisances. The other thing is like the camera, and I said this in my earlier kind of initial review. The camera at times can be kind of finicky. The camera at times will be behind things it shouldn't be behind, or you're trying to fight guys and next thing you know, you're looking at like the back of some box while you're getting your ass handed to you. And it's like, well, fucking gee, thanks, camera. Fucking didn't know you were working for the Mongols, but evidently you are. Backstabbing piece of shit. But again, I mean, it's not a deal breaker. You get used to it, and it doesn't happen all the time, and you learn to deal with it like you do with any other game. But I mean, that these are really the only bad things or the only issues I had with the game. So now let's get in. Let's get into the good. And the good is, man, this fucking game. This game. If this game does not win Game of the Year, it will be a fucking outrage. And I legitimately mean that. And I don't know anybody who hasn't played this game who doesn't A, love this game, and B, think this game should be Game of the Year. Because it is hands down the best game of the year, and it's probably one of the best games I've played this generation. It really is. It's a really fucking good game. And it is the Assassin's Creed game that we always wanted, but that Ubisoft either didn't want to make, or honestly, they could never make because their mind's in a different fucking place. The games that they've been making and been giving us are not what we've been wanting. This is the type of game that we've been wanting. And I don't think they'd be able to deliver this type of game. Not with this quality. No fucking way. And we'll see what they can do with Valhalla, but I fucking doubt Valhalla will be anywhere near as good as this game was. Like, as good as Origins and Odyssey were. They were just okay. And there was a lot of, big hubbub about the change to formula. And that was the biggest thing. So, this big change of formula. And people were really enjoying the change of formula after the old one was growing pretty stale. And that's about it. But going back and playing those games, they're honestly not that great. I mean, they're fun, but they're not amazing games. Neither of them are. This game is an amazing game. Let's start with the story. The story is a really good, well-written, compelling story that actually has consequences for the things that you do and the actions you take and make you really think about how you're playing and what you're doing. Because as samurai, someone with honor, you're supposed to look your enemy right in the face. Everything is on the up and up. Everything is straightforward. There's no tricks. There's no sneaking. There's none of that shit. It's, hey, it's you and me. Let's go. That's the way of the samurai. But as Jin and you as the player find out, is that the way of the samurai doesn't work when you're facing heartless, cruel enemies. They don't give a fuck about anything. They don't give a shit about honor. They really don't. They can give two flying fucks about honor. All they care about is killing you and taking your shit and doing it however the fuck they have to. That's all that matters. So now you're conflicted. Do you play as the ghost? Do you play as samurai? Which way do you go? And you have these moments with your uncle where he kind of knows that you're kind of doing this shady shit. And he's talking to you like, look, that's not the way we do shit, Like, and you feel like, fuck, I don't want to let this dude down. Like, this guy's been my basically surrogate father my entire fucking life. And the way the story's told, like, you really do feel conflict. At least I did. Some people may play the game and be like, fuck that asshole. But I did feel a little bit conflicted. Like, fuck, man. Like, I know that he doesn't want me doing this shit, but like, fucking, hey, I need to get shit done. And the other cool thing is Sucker Punch has always been known for their kind of morality systems in their games. Like the Infamous games very much had a light side, dark side kind of Star Wars thing where the more you did good deeds and the more you were good and you were a hero, you went to the light side and you got light side powers. And the more that you went to the dark side and were doing fucked up things and were making decisions that were making you an animal or a bad guy or a villain, you got dark side powers. And you even kind of changed how you looked, like physically. You would physically start to look like an evil motherfucker, But this game has a morality system in a different way. Instead of, whether you play as the ghost or whether you play as a samurai, even though you're not really playing as a samurai or as a ghost, it's whether or not you're playing straight up, doing standoffs and letting your enemy know what's going on, or, fighting from the shadows. Depending on how you play, instead of it changing what abilities you get or physically how you look. The more you play the way of the ghost, it'll start getting stormier in the world. It'll get stormier and darker, and you'll hear thunder crashing the more you play as the ghost. And it's just a cool kind of way for them to still implement some type of morality system, even though it's not as aggressive as in other games and it's not as in your face. It's still kind of there in its own way, and I can appreciate that. Another thing about the story in this game is that it does give you choices. It gives you a major choice at the end of the game that it doesn't really affect anything. It just gives you the ending that you think that character should have, which I really appreciated. Like, I'm the one playing through this story as Jin Sakai. I'm the one choosing, am I playing more the way of the ghost or more the way of the samurai? So it is fitting that at the end, I get to choose what I do. So I really, really appreciated that. And Sucker Punch, like I said, they did a bang-up job with the story in this game. They really fucking did. And then let's talk about the side quests in this game, because this game has some of the best side quests in open world gaming. They really are great because they don't feel like side quests. They feel like part of the much larger story. It's very smart the way that they did this, because you have these side quests. You have a couple of random side quests here and there, and even they are not bad, But you have these other side quests that are tied to these side characters. And some have like 9 parts, some are 5 parts. You can see how many missions each character will have. But because these side missions are happening at the same time as your real missions, and these side characters are tied to the main quest missions, it just feels like you're doing another mission that's part of the main quest, even if what you're doing doesn't advance the main quest plot. What you're doing in these stories is advancing the plot of the side characters, which are people that are part of the main quest line. So, like I said, it all feels like it's one big quest line, like it's one big story, even though they're just side missions. So the side missions are just done very, very well in this game, where they don't feel like tedious bullshit. I think there may have been one quest where it was, hey, can you collect these flowers for me? But it wasn't like, hey, I'd love to help you, but you know what? I need 20 flowers because I'm trying to make a flower arrangement. I know you don't give a fuck about my flower arrangement, but guess what? I need 20 flowers before I help you. Oh, and by the way, the flowers are way the fuck over there. So, see you when you get back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way most side quests in open world games are. Or, hey, I'd love to help you, but I accidentally let my 35 frogs go. Can you help me find my 35 frogs? And it's like, fuck you and fuck your frogs. I don't give a shit, right? So there was like one quest where it was like, hey, find me these flowers. But it wasn't even like that. It was, I was talking to this lady about making a poison for one of my weapons, right? And as I'm walking with this lady, we get to the area where the flowers are. And she's like, hey, can you collect these flowers for me? And guess what? There was one there, and one there. They were already right fucking there. I didn't have to go questing across the goddamn map to find these fucking flowers for some other reason that had nothing to do with what I wanted. I wanted poison from the lady. The lady needed the flowers in order to make the poison. As we were walking and talking about shit, we got to where the flowers were, and then she just asked me to grab them for her. Like, that was the extent of it being like a side quest in any other game. The side quests in this game are just handled on a much better level than most open world games. And like I said, these are probably the best side quests in an open world game that I've played fucking since I can remember. Because most side quests are like that other bullshit that I was talking about, right? So side quests in this game handled super, super well. I never once felt like I was doing some tedious, random bullshit that had nothing to do with the main story or with the characters in the main story. So, again, hats off to Sucker Punch. They really did a great job with the side quests in this game. Now let's talk about music. Man, the fucking music in this game is so goddamn good. It's so It's so fucking good. It really is. At times, it really did give me vibes of God of War 2018. Like, there were moments in this game where the score would kick in and I would get like slight vibes of God of War 2018. And no, the themes and the music in this game never quite reached the level of amazingness that is Bear McCreary's work on God of War, but they're fucking damn near close. They're right fucking up there. This is some of the best music in a video game that I've heard in a long fucking while. Again, hats off to Sucker Punch because they fucking did a bang up job with the music in this game. And if there's an award for the music in games, then this game deserves the award for the fucking music in this game. It really does. Now let's move on to combat, because a game like this, the combat is everything. This game is going to live by the sword or die by the sword, right? Well, the combat in this game is fucking amazing. It is so much goddamn fun fighting in this game. I never get tired of encounters, and there's so many ways to fight enemies, and the fighting system is ridiculously complex, but not so complex as to be overbearing or a detractor in any way. Combat basically breaks down like this. You have square, which is your quick attack, triangle, which is your heavy attack, which is really used more for breaking shields, circle, which is your dash or dodge, and then L1, which is your block or parry. And fighting breaks down just like that. You're going to be deciding, okay, am I going to quick attack? Am I going to dash? Am I going to block? Am I going to parry this? Do I heavy attack and try to break their shield? Etc., etc. And you have like this little dance that you do with every enemy encounter. And levels are added to that. Complexities are added to that. Later on, you get different stances. So you can hit R2, and with one of the face buttons, you can pick a different stance. Cross or X, people say X, but it's cross. So cross is the stance for swordsmen. Circle is the stance for people with shields. Triangle is the stance for people with spears. And square is the stance for big, heavy brutes. And that stance is going to allow you to be more effective towards those individuals, but less effective towards all the others. So if there's someone who has a shield and I want to take them out, I need to go into the stance for attacking shields so I can take them out. But while I'm in that stance, I'm now less effective towards all the other enemy types. So now you take that earlier dance of gameplay and you mix in having to, on the fly, switch which stance you're in, pick a combatant, and then try to take them out. And it's this constant game of, okay, I want to take this dude out with the shield, so I go into the shield stance. I attack him. Okay, now I parry his attack. I dash from this attack. I do a heavy attack to try to break his shield. Oh shit, need a block because they're trying to shoot arrows at me. Okay, here comes the dude with the spear. Switch to the spear stance. Hit triangle a couple times, try to take him out. Oh shit, here comes the dude with the shield again. Switch back to the shield stance. Block one of his attacks. Parry an attack. Fucking finish taking him out. Oh shit, here comes more arrows. Block the arrows. Alright, switch back to the sword stance so I can take this dude out. And this is something that you do, like, all within a half a second in your mind, because this shit's happening super fast. And that's the gameplay in this game. It's this frantic, constantly switching stances, and then while you're in that stance, trying to figure out what you're going to do, what your plan of attack is going to be. Are you going to block? Are you going to parry? Are you going to dash? Are you going to roll out of the way? Are you going to target another enemy instead? Like, for me personally, first thing I do is I take out all the archers. I don't give a shit where they are. I don't care how many enemies are around me. I go for the archers first, whether that's by shooting them or by running up to them and taking them out, because the archers are very fast at shooting, and the time it takes you to pull your bow up and then actually draw the string, they can draw their bow just as fast. So unless you're like super on top of it, and the time it takes you to try to get on target, they're already taking the shot. So you need to be quick about it. So usually you have to go and try to fire arrows at them right after blocking one of their arrows, because if you're doing it while they're already kind of aiming, you're already fucked. They're going to get to you first. So I usually just run around, try to take out the archers first because they're a pain in the ass and a nuisance. And then I try to focus on dudes with the shields, because they're also a pain in the ass. Take them out first. And I try to pick apart what enemies are around me and which ones that I don't like dealing with the most. So shield guys, spear guys, things like that. But I always take out the archers first because they're a pain in the ass. But like I said, it's still this dance of how are you going to do this, and then what stance you're going to be in. And then on top of that, you mix in all the ghost abilities. The ability to throw down a smoke bomb, or to throw a sticky bomb, or to throw kunai. All kinds of shit. Like, the combat is so deep and complex. Like I said, it's just fucking amazing. And then you mix in the stealth abilities, being able to sneak around and assassinate people and do stealth assassinations. You feel like such a fucking badass doing a fucking 3-person stealth assassination. You just feel like, fuck yeah, I just fucked all those people up. And when you kill the last guy, you even just stand there for a second. Like, the character just stands there for a second in his little, I just fucked these dudes up pose. And you feel so dope. You feel so cool. And same thing with the standoffs. Because when you walk up to some enemies, you have the ability to do something called a standoff, where you call out to them and say, hey, here I am, let's go. And basically it's you and that person, and you hold triangle. And the second they go to attack you, you release triangle and you'll take them out in one fucking shot. The catch is, they'll try to fake you out. They'll feint. They'll fucking, bob their head out there, kind of move their shoulder a little bit and try to get you to go first. And if you let go too early, they'll attack you and do a lot of damage. Or if you let go too late, again, they'll attack you and do a lot of damage. In the beginning, in the standoff, you can only take out one person. But you can build that up to 5 people. So there are times where you're in a standoff, and once you've got it maxed out, you take out that first dude, take that motherfucker out, and then you just sit there. And as this other guy's running up to you in slow motion, the second he motions to go to attack, you hit a face button, take that motherfucker out. And you can take out 5 dudes in a row. And again, you feel so fucking cool. It's just, this game makes you feel like a badass. You feel like a badass no matter what you're doing. You just feel like you're this super badass samurai ninja warrior going around wrecking shit. And that's not to say the game is easy, because it's not. And you might think it's easy. There's times where you just like, oh man, this fucking dudes are easy. Like, this game is getting way too easy. And then you get surrounded with 5 or 6 of those fucking guys, and some of the heavier armored ones, and then you're like, oh shit, no, I spoke too soon. Because it does get crazier towards the end. The more they mix in more varied enemy types, where you're having to switch your stances more on the fly, and the enemies are better equipped than before. You have enemies now that can light their swords on fire to do additional damage. Archers can shoot fire arrows at you. They can also shoot poison arrows at you. You have other enemies who can throw down basically the equivalent of flashbangs or bombs. And all this shit's going on at the same time. And it's just this fucking hectic chaos that you're trying to navigate through, of trying to take out these dudes and switching stances and dodging out of the way of the bombs and not getting hit by the arrows that are either on fire or poison possibly. And it's so much fun. It really is fun. And like I said, combat in this game is fucking amazing. And like I said, it's complex, but not too complex to where it's like, Jesus Christ, this is a chore, or Jesus Christ, this is a pain in the ass. Like, it's always fun, and you always find new ways to play, new things to do, and you don't always approach every situation the same way. Like, when I was playing in the very beginning, I wasn't really feeling the stealth capabilities. I didn't really like doing the stealth. I felt the stealth part of the game was broken, honestly. And I played most of my gameplay as the stand-up samurai, doing standoffs, walking right in the front door and saying, come on, motherfuckers, let's go. But as I started earning these ghost abilities and unlocking these new ghost abilities and upgrading these ghost abilities, I started becoming a little sneaky ninja bastard. And I was enjoying sneaking around and killing people more. But then it wasn't like I was playing only that way. Like, in the beginning, I was playing mostly as what a samurai would do. But as I unlocked more ghost abilities, I started playing more along the lines of what a ghost would do. But the way the ghost played never overtook the way the samurai played. Like, I never went fully 100% Ghost and then I stealthed everything, because playing the samurai way was still fun, and I didn't go straight samurai 100% because playing as a Ghost was still fun. Me as a player was very much what Jin Sakai is. Jin Sakai is not 100% the Ghost. He's not 100% samurai. He's something in between. And that's what you as the player end up playing as. I mean, at least for me, someone may play the game and be like, oh, I'm going to be Ghost 100% of the way, or oh, I'm going to be samurai 100% of the way. But for me, it was too much fun to play both ways. And I think that that's really what the game was supposed to have you do, is play both ways and enjoy playing both ways and not have one way be way more fun than the other. Like, I think they succeeded in that aspect in spades. And I don't see Assassin's Creed Valhalla having combat anywhere near as fun as the combat in this game. Because the combat in Assassin's Creed Valhalla that I've seen looks boring as fuck. I'm sorry, that shit looks boring as shit. It doesn't look fun at all. But we'll see what happens with that fucking game. The other place where Ghost of Tsushima really succeeds is riding the balance between being something that's realistic and being something that's a video game. Because a lot of times games will go too far into the extreme of being realistic, and then it detracts from it being a video game. Because yes, we want games to be more realistic, but in some aspects, not all. Like, more realistic in bullet damage, 100%. If I shoot a dude in the head, I want to see a bullet hole in that motherfucker's head, and I want to see an exit wound on the back of the head. I want brain chunks flying out all over the place. Like, realistic like that, yes. Realistic in terms of physics and the way fire looks and the way water moves, yes. But, like, for example, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption was realistic to a fault. Like, in the beginning of the game, searching cabinets for shit, you're like, oh, look how cool these animations are. And you can actually see him, like, reach in and grab the shit, and you can examine it, and, like, it's just very realistic how he opens up the doors, and then he grabs the stuff, and, you know, it's really cool. But the novelty wears off pretty fucking quick. And when you're like 20, 30 hours into the game, you're like, I get it, dude. You have these nice animations. You're a realistic game. Can you just grab the shit, Arthur? Arthur, just fucking grab this shit so we can get the fuck out of this place, please? It's like, give me a good old Skyrim menu where I can just hit one button to take all, because I don't give a fuck what's in this fucking cabinet. I'm taking all of it anyway, and I'm selling 90% of it. So just give me the option to just take the shit and move on, because this game is really fucking long, and I don't want to spend hours of it searching through cabinets and fucking drawers, right? After a while, having to do that every time got fucking annoying. Or trying to ride through the forest and your horse nudged a fucking tree, so he decides he's gonna do a fucking double somersault and fucking kick you off, and it's like, really, dude? Like, in Ghost of Tsushima, when you're riding through the forest hauling ass and your horse nudges a tree, you know what he does? He just moves like a fucking eighth of an inch to the right and doesn't run into the fucking tree, knocking you off the goddamn horse. Like, I get it. It's not realistic, but it doesn't break immersion when my horse doesn't run into the tree. But running into the tree also doesn't break immersion, but it is fucking annoying. I mean, it's comical, don't get me wrong. And the first couple times it happened, I was laughing my ass off. And there's whole compilations of it on YouTube for people who just want to fucking piss their pants laughing at it. But again, once you're 20, 30 hours into the game, that shit ain't funny anymore. It really isn't. And when that shit happens, you're like, this motherfucking horse. And then you get back on the horse and you're like, you fucking idiot, run into goddamn trees. you just get angry that it happened. And it's like, it didn't need to happen. Like, that was just Rockstar trying to say, like, ooh, look how realistic our game is. You can hit trees. Oh, look how our game is the most realistic game ever fucking created. Look at you run into fucking trees, guys. And it's like, we get it, Rockstar. But can you not make it so fucking realistic next time? Because this is a pain in the ass. You know? And, I mean, just to explain how dedicated to realism Rockstar was for Red Dead 2. Some of you may know this, some of you may not, but this is 100% true. A, there's horses' testicles in the game that you can see, and B, the horse's testicles will shrink or grow depending on the weather. So if you're out in a sunny area where the climate or temperature is somewhat warm, that horse's balls are going to be regular. But once you get up into the cold area, to the colder climates, his balls are going to shrink, because that's what happens to real horses' balls. Can you imagine being in the fucking meeting for that game where they were like divvying up what people are gonna do, and someone's like, okay, Jim, you're gonna be sculpting horses' balls today. Right? This is fucking like, yeah, you're gonna be sculpting horses' balls. I don't know how long it's gonna take, probably hours, I'm assuming, but yeah, your job is to sculpt these horses' testicles. And I don't know what the fuck you're laughing at, Steven. Because you're going to be fucking animating them, Steven. You're going to make sure they shrink and grow when they're supposed to, Steven. So I don't know what the fuck you're laughing at. Can you fucking imagine, like, being stuck with that job, coming home to your fucking wife? It's like, how was your day today, honey? Well, I had to sculpt horses' testicles today, so not very good. Fucking Rockstar. Like, who gives a shit about these horses' balls? Like, the horses' balls, you don't even really notice them. Like, I only knew that they were there because I had read an article talking about the horses' balls, like, before the game would come out. Like, someone had previewed the game, and they were, like, highlighting the horses' balls shrinking and growing, like, to kind of fucking highlight Rockstar's dedication to realism. And it's like, half the time, I don't even know. Actually, more than that. 90% of the time, I don't even fucking realize that those horses' balls are there. And when they are, I don't know if they're growing or shrinking, because I don't know if this is fucking unusual, but I don't fucking stare at horse balls. Who fucking sits there and stares at the horse balls? Oh, fuck. But think about how much time and energy and resources they wasted on horse testicles. They could have been put somewhere else, right? So Ghost of Tsushima rides the line well between being realistic and being a video game. And for me, no bullshit, I think this game is better than Red Dead Redemption 2. I know a bunch of people are going to be like, gasp, blasphemy, blasphemy, burn that blasphemer, motherfucker. I get it, alright? Red Dead Redemption 2, people fucking love it. For me, I didn't love it. I actually loved the first game. I fucking loved Red Dead Redemption 1. And I was super excited for Red Dead Redemption 2. And I just didn't enjoy Red Dead Redemption 2 as much. I didn't care for the story as much. I felt like the story was just going around in circles. We get it. Dutch has a plan. Dutch's plan definitely isn't going to include any double crosses or setups. Oh, no. Not like the last 40 of Dutch's fucking plans. Oh, no. This one's going to be on the up and up. You know, that was the whole fucking game. Dutch having plans that were double crosses, backstabs, and setups. And you constantly having new plans devised by fucking Dutch. And after a while, I was just like, man, this is fucking boring. I'm not enjoying this. Throwing the bullshit with the cabinets and the horses with the trees. And also, it felt like a game that didn't know when it was supposed to end. Because when I thought it ended is when I think it should have ended. But then I had this whole epilogue section of the game. And I'm like, what? Why is this game not over? Like, I thought this game was over fucking hours ago. Oh no, you got like another 15 hours you're gonna play before this game is actually over. And it's like, dude, this game didn't know when it was supposed to be over and should have been over like way too many times. And so for me, I did not enjoy Red Dead 2 as much as the first one. And for me, I think Ghost of Tsushima is the far superior game to Red Dead 2. I really do. Is it as realistic as Red Dead 2? No. Are people going to be looking at all the details and be like, oh my god, look how realistic that looks? No, they're not. You know what they're going to do? They're going to play this game and be like, this game was fucking amazing. And that's all this game needed to do. So, like I said, for me, this is a much better game than Red Dead Redemption 2. Which is why when people were fucking like, not people, but some people were kind of confused as to how God of War could beat Red Dead Redemption 2 for Game of the Year. For me, it was like, zero confusion over here whatsoever. Not confused at all. God of War was a better overall package than Red Dead Redemption 2 was. Just bottom line. And Ghost of Tsushima is a better overall package than Red Dead Redemption 2 is. Bottom line. If you have not bought Ghost of Tsushima, you should. If you're on the fence about it, don't be. Buy it. It's fucking amazing. If you want to wait till there's a discount or a deal, fine. But this is easily a $60 well spent, because you're going to get a decent amount of time out of this game, it being an open world game. And you're going to enjoy every goddamn second of the time you spend in Tsushima. So for me, it's $60 well spent. But if you don't have it and you want to wait for a deal, hey, wait for a deal. But however you have to do it, play this game. This game deserves to be played, needs to be played, should be played, and more than anything, Sucker Punch needs to be supported, and they should reap the rewards of the game that they've made, because in making this game, Sucker Punch has elevated themselves in status as a studio. Before this, they were just the studio that made Infamous, and Infamous was just is Infamous. But now they are the studio that made Ghost of Tsushima. And mark my words, this game will be fucking Game of the Year. This is something that Sony Studios have been doing this entire generation. Guerrilla Games was just that studio that made Killzone. And Killzone was like, meh. It was this first-person shooter that never really found its footing. It was always in the shadow of the other first-person shooters. But now, Guerrilla Games is the studio that made Horizon Zero Dawn, completely elevating themselves in status as a studio. Sony Santa Monica was just that studio that made those God of War games. And those games were fun, they were okay, but they were nothing amazing. And then God of War 2018 happens. Game of the fucking year, taking out Red Dead Redemption 2. Straight up, sweep the leg status. Get him a body bag, all that bullshit, right? For those of you too young, that's a Karate Kid reference. And I mean like the real Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid. The one that had a Japanese man from Japan teaching karate, which is also from Japan, to a kid. Hence the name Karate Kid. Not that new bullshit with Jackie Chan and Will Smith's son, where it's called Karate Kid, even though it takes place in China, where a Chinese man teaches Kung Fu, which is Chinese, not Japanese, and definitely not karate, to a kid, and yet still somehow that kid is the Karate Kid. Like, for a minute, can we just talk about how fucking racist that is? Like, they're not two entirely different countries and entirely different ethnicities. Oh, I guess since they all look the same, it's okay? Like, how fucked up is that? I mean, keep in mind that the first one was based on a real person. Miyagi was a real fucking person. A real Japanese man who taught karate, a Japanese martial art. And then in the remake, it's not a Japanese man, it's a Chinese man. He's no longer teaching Japanese karate, he's teaching Chinese Kung Fu. And somehow the movie is still called Karate Kid. Completely off topic, I know, but fuck it. I had to get that out there real quick because that shit annoys the fuck out of me. But anyway, like I was saying, Sony Santa Monica elevated their status as a studio. And now Sucker Punch is here doing the same thing. They're elevating their status as a studio, which does a lot to increase the perceived value of the PlayStation 5, knowing that these studios are in-house studios. But anyway, back to Ghost of Tsushima. Like I said, if you haven't played it, play it. If you don't have the money for it, then save up or borrow or ask a buddy to buy it for you. Bottom line is, however you can play this game, you need to play this game. And like I said, more importantly, this studio really deserves to get support for this game and see that this game that they've put all this blood, sweat, and tears into, this is fantastic fucking game, that all their work is paid off. Because the worst thing that can happen to these developers is to make a fantastic game and not have anybody support it. But anyway, that's my thoughts and my feelings on the Ghost of Tsushima, and that's all I got for you on this one. Well, that's the video, guys. It was way fucking longer than I expected it to be or thought it would be, but anyway, there it is. So let me know what you think down in the comments, and as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next Supernova.